uh, what is the ultimate goal of your life? Maybe happiness is your ultimate goal of your life, and how do you want to achieve, and how do you want to tread that path? What gives you real happiness is entirely planned and supported by you and your family and your organizations that you work with, and that is individual responsibility, at least in the current scenario, and definitely more importantly in the future scenarios of business. It Gone are the days when you would join an organization and consider that as a end of your career, or that as a career path, growing in the organization as a career path.
Yeah.
So the whole point around that is that we as individuals need to first look at the career and job separately. We need to look at in terms of what are we doing to, as an individual, to be able to bridge that gap, or uh, rather not bridge that gap, but I would say, what have we learned? Have we kept a note on that? And the third is definitely around industry changing perspective, because it's a I mean, disputable fact that at present there are a lot there are biases in the industry against gaps, and because of which people do not get opportunity to be able to present themselves, and that needs to be changed, so that it is important for the organizations uh, to actually get the real job fit individual who is fit for the role, rather than just choosing out of few numbers who have never challenged themselves, who have never uh, taken up new learnings, who have gone into the straight path, and then wanting them to work in uncertain, ambiguous situations. So the need for people with taking challenges and sailing through challenges is becoming critical in the current situation.
Yeah, well said, Tripti. At this point, want to move on to KP. What are your thoughts? As a practicing HR head, how do you think that the industry at the moment is approaching? Looking at candidates or resumes with career breaks. If you could share
Yeah,
your
so yeah.
situation.
Yeah, so of course, and I totally agree with Tripti, right? Had it been around 15, 20 years when I started my career way back, or if I see a generation of my parents where 35 years, 40 years in a single organization was the entire journey. Often. One, one I would see it as an employment gap rather than a career gap. That terminology I would like to use more. Industry is for last 4 5 years I feel that we have been um, trying to adjust to this phenomena and taking it much more with warmth rather than what we would have taken around 10 years back. Earlier there used to be very few organizations whom I know were accepting people with career gap or employment gap, sorry. But now there's a change, right? If you have talent, if you are updated to your potential, what you are applying for, there is a consideration. Of course, there would be a lot of ifs and buts. There would be a little more probing on a lot of aspects. But that's fair.
I think Anil wants to ask something.
I think Dr. Patsa mic is not muted.
Okay, sorry. Go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So having said that, like in my current organization, right, we are open for people who have some employment gap if our need and their capabilities uh, do match, right? So that is how we have to see it in the entire perspective. There are a lot of forums, there are a lot of recruitment firms which work very closely with people who wants to come back. Yes, of course, there are a lot of, if I see in percentage, there would be a lot of organizations working towards getting women employees back to their fold. So lot much programs, because at a point of time, if I see the percentage of gap, employment gap, the women had a little higher percentage, a much higher percentage than the individual in that sense. So in the with the male counterparts. So companies like IBM, Tata, of course, Tripti can elaborate a lot more. She has worked with them. Wipro has a program. Infosys has their Godrej runs a Godrej 2.0 things where it is a restart program. Google has their own program. Amazon has started Amazon Rekindle program. Philips is their GE Restart. HLL does a lot of. HLL has a beautiful program. They have been running for ages for people who wants to rejoin and have a career break. So there are a lot of people, a lot of organizations which are very positive about it. Of course, you have to be convinced yourself as an individual when you are seeking that. I think during the further discussion, I can elaborate a little more on that because thanks to Pragati, which you have shared a lot of questions which people have asked. We can take it one by one later on, or maybe just include it during our conversation with each other.
Definitely, we would like to take these questions of how to convince an HR person who's or stress management during career gap and other things. I mean, there are quite interesting questions that come up.
Yeah, we've had people asking what are some of the strategies regarding this in terms of best routes to reskill, or what is the current psychology of the market. How do we look at that?
So let me take it up. I come from a healthcare technology company, so we are hiring, and we have not stopped seeking for good resources available in the market. But yes, industry is a little cautious. This has been an unprecedented incident, and I think almost whoever is present here right now on this globe has not faced it earlier. So companies are cautious, but I'm quite optimistic that things would reboot. It may take someone to have 6 months, or some companies to have a year, and also, but nothing has ended as such. So there is a lot of positivity in terms of hiring going again up. And if you have the right skill, if you have the right approach, I'm sure you would have your employment goals met, career goals met with the organizations.
Sir, I have a question. Is this the right time? Can I ask, please?
Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, Ruchi.
So rightly said, and I think I'm speaking with a couple of industry experts right now. I think this is a good forum where I can answer, where can I definitely get my answer. You know, I'm struggling to get a job from 8 months. I have in total 13 years of experience. I myself has seen a big change in the market, in the company's perspective of people who have some kind of employment gap. And, it's very difficult for them to really look for the opportunities in the market right now. And I've been facing this since October. So I'm really, I really wanted to understand, since you're saying the right approach is there. And as Tripti ma'am said, upgrading, upskilling and learning new things, I think which even I'm trying to do. I'm from an HR background too, and I was into talent acquisition recruitment. Sure. Despite doing all this and having the approach I feel is correct, but since you mentioned, Mr. Pandey, that it should be a right approach, then the opportunities are limitless. But I don't see people, hirings are going on, the people are resuming back to offices. So can you please give a little more idea as to what should be the right approach the person should follow at this current time? It's a difficult and uncertain time. And how soon can we see the market is opening up with a lot of opportunities? So we can't expect much of it, but at least people really, looking forward to look for the right fit, who is culturally fit for the company. And who's, since somebody was saying about I think Mr. Pandey, you said that your company is open if basically depends on our need and the person's capability do match. then we possibly go for it. So how many companies think like that? So what should be that approach actually?
Sure. So thanks, Ruchi. Very pertinent and very important question. And to tell you truth, I have also faced similar situations. And as Tripti was mentioning, that even your entrepreneurial roles in between have been taken as the employment gaps, and it's very difficult. See, one approach I think from my personal experience, which I can share is a lot of being active in the professional association. See, out of sight is out of mind today. With so
Mhm.
much of supply in terms of the talent, uh, in terms of number, right? It's huge as per the openings. So for any position which I roll out, whether it's at the CXO level, whether it's at the bottom of the pyramid in the organization, I'm actually getting almost equal number of CVs, which is tremendous. So how do I come out of and how I can reflect myself? One thing which I did was that um, during my previous associations where I was working, right, I kept in touch with them. I was in touch with them, sharing what I have done during this time when I'm not associated with them with the organization, or what the organization has done, which I really appreciate, or what I can do it. This was primarily with the promoters and the senior supervisory level people. Two things helped me with that. One was, um, if they had any opportunity, they called me up, right? The other thing, when I had to appear for an interview and to give a reference, I was quite confident that I would get a very positive recommendation from these people. Right, that thing happened well. With the professional associations being active in them, helped me to understand what is actually going on in industry, right? And so I would not see it from a one point perspective. I would be also seeing it from multiple dimensions, right? What kind of industry is there? What kind of skills are being taken care of? Like, as you mentioned, you are a recruiter, right? A talent acquisition professional, right? So no matter I would be heading HR for last so many years. Talent acquisition becomes like very close to my heart, right? So what I used to do is I would try to upskill myself in the areas where I would like to target, right? So if I have to target an ITS organization for my employment, right, I would try to see it from the aspect, what are the skills up there in the market, right? Where do I get those people? How do I retain those people, right? And during my discussions with the prospective employers, I was able to put those things across. So that worked for me. Coming up to the other organizations who would be also keen to it. See, it's very difficult to quote a number or a percentage all across, but with this COVID, I see it much more progressive sign. Um, I estimate in next 2.5 years, 3 years, the working scenario is going to be 25% to 30% of the total employee strength to be on a permanent role, and rest working on a remote contractual basis. That is an estimation which I foresee right now. So herein, whether you had an employment gap, whether you have been continuing with an organization, that gap between these two factors would certainly reduce. And if you are able to convince an employer that nothing has changed because of my employment gap, and the reason I was out of job for these particular things, if it is vertical. So simple example, if someone has taken a career break to pursue in education, right? And someone also comes and says that I took an career break for traveling all across the world. My corporate bias would go to a person who has done something to add on skills. I may be right, wrong, but that is how the industry works. So these corporate biases would always work. What additional thing which you have done during this period, that would help you out. Situation is tough as the finances are bleak and there is uncertainty of future in a lot of segments, industry segments. That also gives a lot of opportunity to other industry segments, right? Like I mentioned, healthcare technology. Now, a lot of delivery and digital companies would be benefiting by this. MS Team
Can I,
had its,
sorry, complete it and then I would want to add to it.
sure, Tripti. So a simple product like MS Team, which was still not very popular in that sense, had its skyrocketing shares just because a situation occurs which is of no man's error or a thing like that. So there are a lot of things. I can go a lot on it. Let's hear Tripti what she has to add.
So coming from a psychological background and psychology background, I have two things that I would add to it. One is definitely when we are talking about gaps, we should not say that it is a gap. In our own mindset, it is not a gap unless until we believe that. What is happening is that you are working on your career even when you are, on a job break. You are working on your career, and that is what how you present. That is what would make a difference in terms of how you present it when you are going for an interview. Suppose if you are saying that you are on a break, for whatever reason, forced or by self or for personal reasons, you have been in the job. Not in the employment in a particular industry, but you are working on your career. And you are working on your career if you are doing things like doing freelancing recruitment or creating a tool for effective recruitment, upgrading yourself to know about different industry. You have to break free your thoughts to be able to develop a niche or something that you have, the industry is requiring and has shortage of. You will be able to get better responses from the recruiters. And the thing is that it's when we personally start thinking it as a gap and as a break and other things, we become apologetic about it. We become self-defensive. And as a result, we are not able to present ourselves when we are getting into the interviews. And definitely it is a challenging task. It is not so easy, but at the same time, we all have to be together working towards nudging the mindset of the filtering people. I would say the people who are in the organizations who are selecting your resume or the recruitment firms who are selecting your resumes. And we have to look for opportunities to break those mindsets and showcase them that you will be a better fit for the role that you are looking for. So your homework, your preparation would make a lot of difference.
I think
I'm so sorry. Can I ask a question, please?
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. So I think Ruchi has asked very relevant questions. So I have sailed into that boat 2 years back. I was trying to get a job, and fortunately, 1 year back, I got the job after 6 years gap due to my family and personal reasons. And but what I have realized in the last 1 year, wherever I have gone and I've met people, they're trying to convince me that because you have taken gap and you have a skill set gap or whatever, please compromise on the salary, which you were getting 6 years back. I think even lesser than that. Start doing that. So.
You're breaking, Pallavi.
I think it's
There?
I think we lost.
Tripti ma'am, Pallavi rightly said, this is the same scenario even I'm facing. It's very challenging. And I really appreciate the way you're telling me that the approach, as Mr. Pandey said, I think the first thing and the second is basically you should not be thinking there is an employment gap. But my question was basically when there is a
You have to compromise.
see.
So how? Yeah.
See, when you're talking about, compromising, again, what are you looking for as a career? I would say that salary is one aspect of it.
Yeah.
So, if you're thinking that, okay, if I am employed, I'll get better opportunity, I mean,
Yeah.
there is no harm in going for a salary cut and getting into the role of working, if you think that is a easier way to go about it. However, at the same point of time, there are many people who would say that no, I don't want salary, compromise on the salary, because I have self-belief and I can run my career on my own. I have circumstances where I can support myself on my own and still be focused to achieve my goal. So that's a personal choice that you're making. And as far as industry is concerned about going on a lesser salary, any business person, whether a person is in a regular job or a person is taking a break, would try to recruit people on as little as they can. So that effort would always be there.
Yes,
That effort would always be there.
negotiations will
Absolutely, that is
always
always there. But what about when there is a dearth of opportunity in the market currently?
That's a mindset that
Tap
you
on.
are limiting yourself, that there's a dearth of opportunity. You need to develop that opportunity, create that opportunity for your own self. See,
So
I would say, just give me 1 minute to make this point, is that I would say that, look, if I am focused about my career is being agile with a purpose. If I'm clear about my purpose in life, I will be agile to take up different routes to reach my goal, and whatever goal it is. So in that sense, I would be ready to compromise. I'll be ready to support myself from some other means and still work towards developing my expertise in the area where I ultimately want to reach. So suppose if I want to be a entrepreneur or a big or a businessman, I may start working on my business side by side. At the same time, I'll be reskilling on that area. Maybe I'm working in some job. Job and careers are two different things. So you need to be very clear what is your ultimate objective that you want to achieve, and compromise or supporting it with doing other things should not deter you from the focus that you have established for yourself in your life.
Sure. Adding to that, Tripti, that's a very relevant point. One thing which is, unless until you are convinced yourself, no one else is going to be convinced about yourself, right? So that self-confidence, never let your self-esteem and self-confidence go down. Rejections would happen.
Yeah.
Everyone faces those rejections. Everyone is facing, whether you are employed. As we work in a regular employment, daily I face so many employees who feel so rejected by the kind of job they are doing. They are not happy because of work pressure, because of a lot of other things all these years. So there could be a lot of impact causing elements in your career, right? So when she's mentioning about career, Ruchi, especially to you and to Pallavi, who have thankfully raised this question, which is very important. How do we focus, right? That would be thing. What are your target areas, right? Let's not bombard our CVs to everyone in that sense. But you make a point that, okay, these kind of skill sets, these are the organizations where I feel I could be best suitable for. Fine. So is there a gap coming in? What is their requirement which is having? There is no harm of having 2 or 3 kinds of your own resumes, right? Basis upon the organization's need in that sense. So suppose an organization hires a lot for sales profile, and you as a HR recruiter have worked hiring that. Please highlight that. Never try to, I would say, hide your employment gaps, right? You can use that period very attractively. The first step is to get your resume noticed, right? Let me come to a very practical thing. As a recruiter, I get around 400. My colleague Raj is also attending, who heads talent acquisition for us. He receives close to 400, 500 resumes every day, right? It is humanly not possible for him to see to get the best out of it just by seeing resume. So what he or any human recruiter would do, we are still not using AI right now or robotic interview. So as a human person, so when we see what is that which is coming apart from the regular skills which is there. So at least that eye to that resume has to be there. How should I make it little more attractive? It is not by adding colors, but using your words specifically. A best example is if you are unable to get a job, which is your prime goal right now for a specific period of time, have you done some volunteering? Have you done upgraded your skills by doing a certification or something? Please do mention that. Don't be hesitant. Don't put it in a corner. Suppose there was one question which mentioned that I have frequent career gaps, right? And that is now making my getting a next employment little jittery, which is absolutely right. As a recruiter, I would be looking for someone who is more stable in things. So if you know from a practical side, if you know there has been long of career breaks coming in for whatever reasons, where you have left employment too frequently, please do mention in your thing that yes, I have been noticing it, noticing my gaps in this way manner. So at least I would have a different viewpoint on that CV as a recruiter. So these would be few things. It's not easy, easier
So
said
can
than
I
done.
ask a question? Sorry to interrupt you. Just to just had a
Yeah,
query on the thing which you said.
yeah.
This is Gira here. Good evening, everyone. Actually,
Hi.
2 points which I have in my mind to discuss. One
Yeah,
thing you said earlier, regarding upskilling, right?
correct,
I
correct.
myself is feeling the same about in the career gap of 6 years as of now due to shuttling between
Sure.
countries. The thing is that what I had seen on the net and the way I was progressing, I have seen
Yeah,
that the kind of upskilling things which are coming up from big corporates as well. You mentioned many companies are giving back to
yeah,
work programs, especially to women,
correct,
because
correct,
family and
correct.
everything is there. What I have observed,
Absolutely.
me being a non-technical person, I'm from a banking
Hmm.
background, and it's like whatever
Sure.
back to work programs I have seen, I may be unaware of
Yeah,
other things, but it's like I've seen that it's more for the technical people, back to work
right,
programs coming up.
right.
But how a person having, if I keep myself in the bracket, having a
Yeah,
5 year work experience into the corporate banking sector, then went overseas and then came back, all personal stuff coming up, and then again I
sure.
want to take a shift. I believe that as
Yeah,
of now, since I have more responsibilities at my home as well, so I
sure.
cannot very hard, what to say, I don't want to go. I know that I won't be able to cope up with the financial sector, right? And if I want to
Sure.
change the sector to HR or so, and
Yeah,
my previous employers don't have any kind of a back to work kind of programs, where to
sure.
put myself into, which bracket should I put myself, because everywhere the programs are like, people come and say you can do this back to work program, you can do that back to work program, but the skill
Sure.
sets which are required there to even to approach for that back to work programs, I don't have. Then
Right.
how do
Sure.
take everything together and put this sabbatical at the back place? And also, Mr. Pandey, one thing is that as you approach, I'm very blatantly putting up in the forum, you're also progressing in the age, right? You are growing up year by year,
Yeah,
the age factor is also coming up. The thing is that how to make
absolutely.
independent, both financial independence and personal independence and professional independence lies in the whole triangle. But how to take
Correct.
everything together, and because at the back of the mind you also feel very, on a personal end, I'm saying, you feel, you approach to the company, you see employees working which are 10 years, 7 years, 8 years younger to you, and you're working
Yeah,
and you're just trying to come back to the same forum. How to go
yeah.
about it and how to approach, especially from a non-technical perspective, I just wanted to do. Thanks.
Sure. Uh, Interesting, Gaurav. We all fall in same bracket being non-technical, right? So important aspect for you. So half of your questions have answers in its own self, right? one very important point is when you are in a mid career, you also have a choice to look use this time to at home to look at a change of a career path, right? So
Right,
suppose you had started in a banking financial segment, and now you see that okay, maybe I can help changing my career, move towards HR, move towards an
that's
administration,
what I'm doing, sir. As of now, I'm just
right?
exploring this.
Right, right. So in that sense, have you also, there are a lot of organizations, there are a lot of companies which also offer part-time works, right?
Okay.
So for you, so you can approach heroes, right? They are doing beautiful job for women in that sense, and they provide a platform for that. Then there is one website, one organization, Jobs for Her. Dot com. So
So there also it's only technical jobs. I am a participant. I'm a member there on both the platforms. I have seen it's like just wanted to understand. Definitely the gap really poses a hurdle. But what I have seen is like technical people. Are there chances more for the technical people in the current scenario? I don't get an answer generally on this.
So any see
So I just wanted to know.
if you see any organizations composition support departments which we have finance, HR, admin, and maybe marketing also,
Yes.
they would always have a ratio, right? If I come talk about an ITS organization, it is usually 1:125 or 1:100 kind of employees in support to a technical workforce, because naturally that is the engine which is driving that organization that way. So of course, if you talk about number of opportunities, it would be always lesser, and that makes us more prudent in our upskilling and our approach, that how we can take multiple roles, right, in that sense. So if I go to in a smaller setup, right, and I say, no, I'm only expert in this thing, that smaller setup may look for a person with a multiple skills, which can help them then and there. Right. So how do I approach that organization? Can I support during my discussion in sense ki I have done this, and these are three other factors where I feel I can contribute to the organization, which would make people think little more seriously about your profile in that sense. Regarding age, of course, that is a real fact and truth. People would like a lot of things. I have worked very closely with startups for last 6-7 years now of my career, both as a consultant and as an employee, where I've seen a shift. Earlier, they were not very comfortable hiring someone who was almost double their ages in that sense. But last 3 years, 4 years, if you see the employment trend and the profile of these startups, you'll find mid-age employees because of their experience are being considered, right? Because they add value to scaling up of the organization there and then. So, as I said, corporate bias would always be there. How do we market through is how confidently and how comfort we can provide to the employer at that point of time, right? So those are my points. Tripti, would you like to add something over here?
Yeah, sure. So Gira, you have been saying, said that you have 5-6 years of gap, and all these different forums you feel that you are not suitable. See, there are Tata Group, when we are talking about the Tata Group second career for women, anybody having gap of about 4 years, and now I think it's 2 years for personal reasons or for family reasons, any woman is allowed to apply for that. And then based on your profile and your interest, you are given 6 months of project work and it's a flexible arrangement to be able to, and some training is also given at that point of time to be able to be ready for the industry again coming after the gap. And then you are, after 6 months, once you have worked on the project and you have seen the work culture, you know the manager, then it's a mutual decision between the manager and you to take up flexible employment or a full-time employment based on your performance. So it's a mutual discussion. So there are many organizations which are doing such kind of work for women. So in that, there is nothing about specific skills about technical or non-technical. On the other hand, when you're asking about technical people having more chances, see, that is a reality and it's a fact, because any job, any role now is becoming, if we are looking at COVID situation, even education or counseling, things where personal connects were very important have come online. So at least we will have to revamp ourselves to be able to be ready, to be able to take up things which we can do online. I mean, basic minimum technical knowledge will be required to be able to operate the various platforms, various tools which are required to be able to work. Now, work from home opportunities for even non-technical, being in HR, even say research work, or even for assessment centers, report writing, and various other things keep coming on online. So if you are searching for the right forum and right kind of you will get a lot of even counseling, career counseling, students counseling, life coaching, all these things have are becoming, I mean, key aspects of online careers or online jobs. And so we will have to be ready, keep ourselves ready for the need of the future. So career gaps doesn't mean that we are just hoping that we will get a job. Definitely there would be a lot of challenges and people will not give you not give you the due that you deserve, or people will want to push you back. But once again, I will reiterate how we are looking at it, how we are working towards it, how we are preparing for it, how we are showcasing what I have done in the 6 years and where I was, say, 6 years back as a professional and where I am after 6 years as a professional. Professional doesn't mean just being in the financial sector. Professional would mean is that as a mature, how you are mature person, how well you have learned how to manage a team, managing a child or an aging parents, how that has helped you to become more, resilient or more, what you don't get irritated or you get more determined. I mean, there are different kinds of experiences in life which you go through, from which you can always build up things which are required for that particular role.
No, ma'am, definitely. I myself feel that, what I was 6 years before and what I am now, it's like
everyone is growing.
Matured as a person, everybody matures, the personality matures much more as compared to what was, 6 years before. So definitely, you are more patient, you are more able to, do multitasking and everything. But when it comes down to, when the people, the recruiters see your resume and they see, last working is in 2014. So the kind of an attitude which comes up, it's like it really pulls you, like, are you absolutely, you don't know anything, as if you are really out of all the things which were you doing. Are you unaware of everything? The kind of
never sorry,
never
Devang,
let that impact you.
Never let that,
never let that impact you. If they are saying those things or if they are putting you that way, it reflects on their own personality and their own maturity level.
Absolutely.
Not on you.
Yeah, no, definitely what said, and you said, that taking up that startup thing is also a good point, where people do look down for experienced people, where the budgeting and everything is a constraint. So taking up, at the same the kind of the package which you were having 6 years before, and at least if a little bit down also, then also you can be open up to those.
See, even for the students who are saying that, okay, 2020, I'm not getting internship, I'm not getting, I may not get job. For them also, I'm saying that what are you doing? How have you showcased yourself in this pandemic situation to be able to deal with the situation and contribute positively? Have you volunteered somewhere? Have you managed some supply chain the area that you want to go? Have you managed finance of a company, NGO, which is working to give foods to the migrant workers? I mean, what have you done? And if you have done that, and if you can relate it with the role that you are looking for,
Correct.
that would be the key point where you are nudging the recruiter to rethink that, look, what he or she is saying that you are not capable, that is definitely you're proving them wrong or proving them untrue for him.
Thanks a lot.
I think this is a question that's coming up in terms of how do we convince, I mean, people who have taken voluntary or involuntary grabs. I think increasingly most of the people, or even the chat box or the questions we've received, is about how to convince. So I think what Tripti and KP are constantly trying to say is to upskill, upgrade, do some voluntary work. There's someone who's asked a question in the chat box here. I think Vikram, who's wanting to know what's the impact of age in the employment gap, and if the required skills, knowledge, abilities, behavior match. I think KP did address that point that age could be factor, but I guess one has to continue networking and being in touch with a particular industry. Tripti, if you want to add anything to that.
See, there are all kinds of biases when it comes to age, it comes to, your sex, it comes to religion, it comes to nationality. There are all kinds of biases in this world, and we have to live with it.
Yeah, that's the reality.
That's a reality. We have to live with it. And how we are able to tell the other person or convince the other person that, look, these biases are, you need to put it back to be able to get a right person for the role that you're looking for the organization. I am the best fit for the organization. That is the key important point. That requires you to do a lot of homework on your own self. You have to do a lot of homework on your CVs. You have to do when KP is talking about networking, don't do irrelevant, networking just without any focus. Network with people with whom you are learning about the area that you are going to work or you want jobs into, or network with people who, focus, who can really help you to get the goal that you are looking for. So focus is very important. And that is where you are, all these age biases exist all over world. Gender biases exist all over world. Yes, Rajiv, you want to say something?
Hi. Thank you so much, Tripti. In fact, I was like raising my hand. I just wanted to ask if I can ask my question or not. So it was very fantastic. It was seriously fantastic to hear Tripti, you and KPU. Thanks, Pragati, for initiating this kind of thing. And I think this is going to help a lot of people.
Thank you.
Now, in fact, I am finding certain challenges right now. Just to share a small brief, I said person agree from the psychological standpoint and everything. Now, see, I used to work with organizations. I should say matrix organizations earlier, and there were certain I should say medical reasons why I had to quit my job. Since my wife was not well, and then there is some business also that we were running, and it's almost like 6.5 years now that we are taking care of this. We have been grooming it very well, so it is doing still fine. During this COVID, again we are doing fine, but my passion has been to work into these matrix organizations and not the unorganized structured organizations the way we have right now. In between, just like you were mentioning, I have worked as a consultant for a few organizations earlier. Voluntarily, again, I have worked for a few, just like, just to, and if you want, I can name a few also. So mine is purely into technical section. Earlier, it was learning and development for say around 14 to 15 years. Thereafter, I was taking care of sales for approximately 7 years now. So now I definitely want to move back to matrix organization. Unfortunate is that trying to apply many a times, but I think maybe due to age constraint or maybe due to the gap in the unorganized sector that I have, although I already have this consultancy that I was doing, and the paychecks and everything have been coming to my bank account, I can definitely go back and show that. I think these things are still not getting reflected anywhere, or maybe I don't know what is the reason why, if they are using some AI which is looking at the age, and the unorganized sector and all that, which is the reason why it is not getting reflected in matrix organizations. I'm getting calls from the startups, just like people
Yeah.
were sharing some time back.
Yeah.
I'm getting calls from them. Yes, salary constraints are very much there, because as rightly shared by Tripti ma'am, that everyone would like to cut the salary, because that is what they are there for. They are working in our organization to do these things. So I don't know. Again, with startups, I have got several opportunities, but again, at a very low package, spending working as an FTE becomes very difficult. So I don't know. I'm seriously not sure if you'll be in a position to help me out in this particular scenario. But I really love the way you are sharing your thought processes. Again, my congratulations to you for starting up this initiative.
Thank you, Rajiv.
Thanks.
I'm sure KP will be talking about the industry side of it. I would just say that when you are, for this particular problem, you would need uh, a lengthier discussion. And the other thing is, because the first question that comes to my mind as a coach is around, okay, why are you stuck with the interest of joining into a matrix organization? So,
Mhm.
what is the reason behind it? I've used the wrong word, but
I
it's
can no, I can definitely share that. See,
no,
if I talk,
not right now, because this would
okay,
become
okay,
a personal
that's fine.
coaching.
I
So
understand. I
we would
understand.
need
Fine.
to
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
deeper to answer your particular
Sure.
problem.
Yeah.
But yes, there are if there is an industry side of it, in terms of not getting the resume selected or getting options from only the startups, that
Mhm.
I think KP would focus on. Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, Rajiv, definitely there will be a lot of introspection required, and for all of us, right, there has to be one mentor or one coach
Mhm.
for you, for ourselves, right? That I would emphasize very strong. We would require at every part of our journey, right? Whether we have 0 years of experience or 20 years, or we are CEOs in that sense. Rajiv, I think we can also take it offline. But my suggestion, if you are, and I'm sure you would have your own reasons for your metrics, love for your metrics or organizations.
Sure.
So
Sure.
your approach should be primarily targeting that vertical head of that organization, right? Make that
Yes.
rapport. Target, do not go by a general way, because it is not a general condition right now.
Mhm.
People at your experience level and the things, there would be a lot of passive hiring happening, not very active hiring
Okay.
happening. So if you are able to connect to the CEO of that vertical, or a VP of that vertical, or a person in that sense, where you can introduce yourself, at least not to bias any selection, but at least to get noticed in that sense. So that these are few strategies which would always give it a little more mostly metrics organization. So we'll have a very different kind of work environment, work ethics to hire also. Right. So
Yes.
they would have, and they would go by a mandated process in that sense. So if
Mhm.
you go by that process, you would have take lot more time. So approach from a different angle. Maybe you just need to change your strategy, how to go about it in that sense.
Mhm.
And I believe um, uh, we can always take it up offline. Tripti is there as a professional coach, and Pragati also helps us reaching out and supporting a lot of people in that sense. So we can always get into that. But yes, the
Fantastic. Yeah.
focus has to be what do you want to achieve, right,
Mhm.
by getting into a job, right, and why that
Right.
startup can't give you, why another organization can't give you. If you are convinced about that self, then I think half of your things you will always get that. Yeah,
Thank
sure.
you. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks.
Thank you, KP. I think there was Karuna here who was wanting to share a success story. Uh,
Yeah.
Karuna, you there?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm there.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So much. Thank you so much, Pragati, for introducing me. And thank you, Tripti and KP. Lovely conversation. And I just enjoyed the way you've answered a lot of queries of a lot of people. I wanted to share a success story here with everybody on the call today. In 2016, end of 2015 is when I took a break, and I was working as an HR head for one of the multinational companies. And I went back to work in 2017 February again. So slightly more than 1 year, I was on a break, but I did not take any salary cut. I was rather offered 20% more than the salary I was at in 2015 end. And how it happened, couple of pointers I can share about. One, I continued to network with set of people whom I thought were influential in the field of work that I am in, which
Sure.
is that I joined as a senior director HR. From an HR head to a director HR, of course, was also a next step for me.
Sure.
So 1 year of break did not stop me from moving ahead in my career. So what I did was continue to network with people like that. Secondly, I used this time to get certain skills, upgraded my skills on topics like coaching, NLP, and the field of HR that I wanted to continue to build up on, which helped me to showcase that while I went back to work. So those were two things which worked very well for me. Thirdly, which I think Tripti and KP have very well answered also, was that I kept my self-esteem high. The confidence level helped me to crack through, because what I told myself, and I do a couple of sessions for women restarters, and I worked for a couple of organizations, I'll tell you a little after that, have been where we've been able to, where I have, built up my self-esteem in a way that I tell, think of it from a point of view that what I was, let's say 5 years back, people have made an impression about me from that experience. Now, what I've done in the 5 years, I know what I've done in the 5 years, but when I now want to go back, my professional image of what I was 5 years back, people still carry that. So if it is positive, people will, invite me back in the circles. If I want to start networking again at a high level again, but if it has not been that great, I need to continue to build up on that by showcasing better skills that I have acquired. So these have been some things that I worked on, and I got back to work with no regrets at all of taking a break. And then decided to step out in 2000 September 18, because now I wanted to work for women who wanted to. I actually had set up my own HR advisory, and then one of the important things that we did was that we wanted to work for women who were on a career gap. So there have been a couple of women that we have placed back in the corporate sector. There are some challenges that I face, and I can share that with you, and maybe it'll help the audience to hear this out so that they can work on their own personal progress. One was the courage or the confidence levels really go down if you've been on a long break.
Yeah.
So I had to guide them through that. And I think if you're feeling like that, know this, that if what you did in the past, you were an achiever at that time, and it'll continue to help you go forward also. Secondly, the challenge that specifically women, because I was helping out women restart their career, what happened is that I found that they were not networking enough. And I always urge them to continue to network well, specifically with the right set of people. And some of the benefits that have happened of the past people that have placed now for corporate sector was that we had them to notice that, look, if you pick up and understand what set of companies you want to work for, what industries or what roles you want to work for, then reach out directly to the decision makers and showcase to them that you know a lot about this organization in and out, and then tell them that, look,
Yeah.
I have 5 pointers or 3 pointers which could help you create a different scenario in your organization. Maybe just go for a pro bono for the initial start as well. And when you have that experience, even if you don't get paid for it, you could actually use it in your CV.
Yeah. Valid points there, Karuna. I'll have to stop you there. I have some more questions coming,
I'm
but
actually done. Thank you.
No,
interesting.
Karuna, thanks. Karuna is
Thanks.
doing a brilliant work with Chrome Consulting, right? If I'm not, Karuna, I have been listening to her and her initiatives.
Thank you.
One point, Pragati, I would definitely try to make over here and share my example also. When I went to UK after 16 plus years of experience working in an international assignment in few of the African countries and all, right there, I was taken as an totally fresher in HR field, right? Which was you don't know about this country, you do not know about the labor legislations, which I took a sales consulting job with one of the organizations whom I wanted to do consulting for HR, and then gradually moved into the HR consulting role for them in that sense. So if it is required, you have to prove your worth by showing that how you care about that organization, how you are going to be involved with that organization. So that conviction you have to show. That little step would always make things little more easier for you in the future. So just wanted to add upon that, and of course we can take.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that, KP.
Thank you,
In
Karuna.
fact, we have an interesting chat here. We have Ashish Gulati, who's offered a position, open position. So
Wow.
if it interests anybody, you can write to him at ashishgulati1@gmail.com. He has a position of HR and marketing head. So that's interesting to see an open
Wow.
position being shared over here.
Thanks, Ashish. Thanks, Ashish. So
you,
a lot of channels opening. Yes.
Absolutely. I have Isha Kalia. I think she wanted to ask a question. Isha, you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So, first of all, it's really nice connecting with everybody so senior in this profile. So, my story might be a little different from everybody. I'm not sure. I'm a very new person in the HR field, and it was approximately, I was a system engineer before, and then I did my master's in HR, and I got into HR. And I was actually, I share an organization with KP sir, so I can
Yeah.
relate with him.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
then I was working there for 1.5 years, and then for
Yeah.
personal reasons, because I had to take care of my dad, and I also took up an entrepreneurial role with my husband. But somehow that did not work out, and I plan to get back to corporate in January and did break through one of the companies, but again due to corona it just went haywire. So I'm
Sure.
again back
Sure.
to square one. So but there were certain points where I felt a little different about how recruiters were talking to me, considering I've been a recruiter myself.
Yeah.
So their
Yeah.
concern was first definitely why I took that break. And then their second concern was because I got married 1.5 years back or so. So their second concern was, are you going to go on a mat leave soon? Or are you planning your family? And so I actually never entertained that question, and I felt I did not talk to those companies anymore, because
Yeah.
I think that is not what recruiters or anybody from any company is supposed to ask. But really, if even if I
Sure.
was,
Sure.
how do you handle such kind of a situation with the any company? And these companies have been really good companies that I was in talks with, and I had to drop that option out. But how do you really tackle with such questions, considering that I'm new in this field? Probably I don't have a lot of experience as all of you might be having, but I think a lot of females face this. And I got really petrified that I might not actually get a job in future because of this. So how do I deal with such kind of a situation?
Right.
So,
Sure.
Tripti, you
I would
let's
like Tripti to. Yeah.
can I reply to Isha? So, Isha, I mean, definitely as a women, we do face all these kind of questions. And the point is that, I mean, you have rightly brushed them off not, I mean, they're not considering those companies. However, I mean, there are different approaches one can take. One can turn the questions back to them in terms of, okay, well, how about what are you planning? I mean, something in terms of what are you planning to do in next 5 years? How are you planning to leave or something? If it is a male, or I mean, something that
Brilliant.
I mean, you have to turn it back to them, asking the question in a very polite but firm manner, and state your point that look, that is not going to deter in terms of your performance. That is one way. The other way is that if you want to really take it head on, you can always approach a different individual in the organization and I mean, state your I mean, the questions that has come to you. Maybe that person is not trained enough to take interviews with women, and there are gender biases which are existing. So you have to identify a right person and right. So I mean, depending on the company, depending on this on the person that you're dealing with, you need to devise ways where you are turning the situation maybe in a witty joke, in a I mean, the firm, I mean, firm response, or taking it head on and saying that, look, this is a reason that I would not want to join your company. Or I mean, when you have already not joined the company, then you can really take it head on. You never know that there are people who would want you and rather want that person to move out from the company, because you are focusing on the policies and practices of the organizations, which in written, especially for most organization, it is written that there would be no discrimination. So you are bringing on all those points and putting up your points. So I mean, you will have different ways to deal with it, and one will have to learn this slowly and be ready to take on.
I think we just have, thank you, Tripti. I think just we have time for one last question. That's coming from Chandana Murali. What specialization works out post-lockdown for students? I think Chandana, Tripti had answered to that. Whatever you're passionate about. Is that right, Tripti?
Yes, I did right. Right. Yeah, KP, go ahead.
Yeah.
So I would also like, so bang on Tripti, on Isha, I would also like to add one more thing, right? Whenever such situation comes in, right, and I know a lot of my ex-colleagues or the fraternity members have been discussing about how do the recruiters or even at the senior most level, people may ask, your firmness and your confidence at that stage is going to make it, right? It's your decision to join that organization or not, which is your thing. But you should always mention that I am a professional. I am here for my professional role. And let's discuss about my competencies, about how I can handle this situation, right? And the further things, we will see it whenever the situation comes in that sense. But I feel that is there. And in case if that is a deterrent and it is a written policy in your organization, I think you should have posted during the job application description, right?
Absolutely.
Give it back that point of time. It would at least teach them for the next time, right? So that sensitivity has to be. Yeah.
Some very valid points there from Tripti and KP. I would like to, before we conclude, I would like to have some concluding thoughts from you, Tripti, before we sum up this today. I think we're already past time.
So, I mean, my key messages for everyone is there. See, look, all these situations will come. The first thing that one has to keep in mind is that for ourselves, we don't need to convince ourselves that it is a gap. If we are convinced that it is a gap and we have not done much, we are not confident about it, how we have used it or learned in that, or we have grown as a professional, we will reflect that when we are conversing with the recruitment manager or a recruitment individual. So that is the first key point. Second key point, I would say that yes, it is a very difficult journey. This bias exists in market, and we need to acknowledge that that's a fact. However, if we as a team need to take this further, that look, we are growing in the gap, and gap has become pertinent and important, especially in the current situations and for the future, where specialists would become more in demand as compared to the generalist. Because what is happening, most companies are going for lean organization, and there would be the nature of job itself is changing. One person will be employed with 5 different companies at the same time, and the concept of being employed with an organization is going to die slowly. The third point is people are talking about having gaps in education and things like that. Education is something, I mean, which is going to become irrelevant, especially not education. I would say it is a qualification which is going to become irrelevant. It is the expertise and the knowledge that you carry and how you put forth that becomes critical for future roles and future jobs. And also, I mean, definitely one has to be better prepared for taking up this challenge, and all reskilling, networking, working focused on the career rather than on the job or the roles that we are taking up. That is more important. Be focused on the career or the main objective of your life, or the goal that you want to achieve through your career. That is more important, and for that you would need to develop that clarity for yourself.
Thank you, Tripti.
Yeah.
KP,
Thanks a lot.
KP, would you like to add, or should I go ahead with my?
Yeah, so there are 2 points which comes to me, right? And one is, no one is doing charity. Neither the employer is doing charity by giving you a job, nor you are doing charity by getting a job. It has to be a win-win situation. How you make that win-win situation is in your hands. How do you upscale yourself? How do you present your gap, right? That would be very important for thing. And one thing, self-confidence. As I am an ardent lover of sports and cricket, as a normal Indian chap would love it. I remember Mohammad Azharuddin's statement that whenever he was out of form, he used to step 2 steps ahead of the crease and try to hit the ball, right? Which gather in confidence. So go with the confidence, right? Don't lose your esteem. Don't lose your confidence when you are approaching for a role. Be very, very confident what you require. What are you going to do with that organization? So I think that's how I would try to end up my points there. Pragati, all over to you.
Valuable points indeed, KP and Tripti. Thank you so much. I think we can see even in the chat box, a lot of people have kind of picked up these points of networking with the right fraternity, positive attitude, self-confidence, self-selling, which are some of the key takeaways of today's session. Today's session also should be considered, or could be considered, as a collective nudge. I think each one of us over here, be it as a candidate or as a recruitment professional, working or currently pursuing their own interest, needs to create some changes in the recruiting mindsets. Need for change in the approach in talent acquisition. It's time that we broaden our approach to select the best fit. I think the HR community more so needs to dive deeper to understand suitability along with their hiring managers. As individuals, said by Tripti, KP, and some of our other participants would share their story, we need to kind of build our own resilience, and only then organizations also will start building their own resilience while looking at resumes with gaps. It's time that the industry acknowledges what an individual is gaining out of the gap experience, voluntary or involuntary. And there have been several success stories. I think we had one of our participants, Karuna, share a story. I think to the leaders and recruiters out there, it's time to wear a different lens while selecting talent. HR community definitely needs to reflect on their current approaches and make the amends. So thank you all once again for being here and being such a participative audience. I think we've had a very engaging sessions. We've tried.
Oh, wonderful, yeah. Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah, I think the whole idea.
Thanks. We learned a lot of things back. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone, and wish you all the very best.
All the best, yes.
Wonderful audience, lot of questions which are putting us to reflect more. And thank you, Pragati, for coordinating and
Yeah,
also
brilliant.
bringing us all together. Brilliant work. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. A much
Yeah,
required session. Thank you
nice.
everybody for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Good evening. Yes. People who are present here, in case if you wish to leave some of your key takeaways, we'll be happy to know your takeaways in the chat box as you leave. Thank you. Thank you for being here. You could feel free to connect with our participants, with our speakers on their LinkedIn, and they'll be happy to take your queries.